Thank you very much, MEC Mamabolo. Thank you very much, colleagues. Let me first thank the members of the media. I know it was quite a short notice, and you've managed to be with us here, and we are quite grateful for that because this is quite a very important thing. Let me welcome the Premier, together with the members of the Executive Council, the MECs, the mayors of our municipalities in our province, the law enforcement leadership, and all colleagues that are here. Colleagues, we just finished a meeting now led by the Premier to respond on the foodborne illness that has just been ravaging our province in particular, but some aspect of our country. There is a clear march or a way forward that I will then give the Premier to give the marching orders. And let's welcome you back, Premier, in the province.
Thanks so much, Vuyo. As Vuyo has indicated, we've just concluded a very important meeting with all our executive mayors, members of the Executive Council, MECs, together with the law enforcement agencies represented here by our Provincial Commissioner of Police. But I want to heartily thank all the executive mayors that are here. For the very first time, we are planning from the center, all of us, so that we can have a uniform approach on all these matters that are confronting us. We are dealing with the spaza shops now. We are going to deal with the water later on this week as well, so that we attend to the challenges that we are facing as a province in terms of water. So I want to thank all the executive mayors that are here, and also thank the MECs that are here, together with the representatives of various offices. We started the process by establishing a technical task team led by MEC Mamabolo, the MEC responsible for COCTA. The task team was twofold. One was to deal with the law enforcement aspect of it, because there were lots of incidences that were happening in the province. And then the second aspect was the response plan, because we need to respond as a province on all the challenges that we faced and how we're going to rectify the situation. From the law enforcement agencies level, those meetings are held every Tuesday, and they will, you'll see when we respond on the issues that we've accepted, they will then follow up and ensure that there is enforcement across the province. What we have done this afternoon, it was to adopt a uniform approach across the province. And the first uniform approach across the province was to adopt a mechanism of reporting. Because we've got so many deaths that are taking place, we want to isolate those that are foodborne and those that need our immediate attention. So the Department of Health have been given that task. They've given us their preliminary report, and in their preliminary report, they've indicated the deaths that have been registered thus far. I need to be exact. We need to be exact. So today, we can confirm that we are at 23, which is a set thing. That we've got 23 deaths that we can account for. And we are linking them with all the dockets that the law enforcement agencies are going to open, so that the statistics are reliable. So our first task was to understand the problem. The problem is that, unfortunately, we lost 23 children, and amongst the 23, majority of them are within the ages of 6 and 9. That's majority. And the reported incidences happened within the school facilities and some community centers, and we're keeping those statistics. But overall, we've got 441 cases that have been reported across the province. Some of the people either were discharged or they just showed the symptoms of vomiting, stomach aches, and related information. So we've got 441 cases that have been followed by the Department of Health, and amongst the 441, unfortunately, we are 23 that passed on. So what we are saying, every week now we're going to develop a template that will be utilized by the following institutions: hospitals, clinics, schools, and community centers, so that our data is reliable and we can be in a position to track the areas that need immediate attention. So the Department of Health, we've resolved, will then develop a common template that will be utilized as a reporting mechanism, and then we'll utilize the law enforcement agencies in terms of the cases that they have to ensure that we've got the right figures across. To us, this is very important because that becomes the base level of understanding the problem and becomes the area in which we can record, trace, and where intervention is needed, we can be in a position to make that intervention. We've resolved that the Department of Agriculture, that's number 2, because it's clear what causes this death. From the forensic and the laboratories, we now know what caused majority of those particular deaths, because what is being utilized, it's something that is happening within the agricultural space. So the MEC responsible for agriculture, MEC Ramokgopa, will then formulate the approach on how to deal with that substance. In my home language in Tembisa, we call it halipirimi. We have agreed, all of us, that that substance is banned in our province and that it must not be found in shops, it must not be found in informal traders, and that the law enforcement agencies will assist us to eliminate it where possible. But those that are authorized, the Department of Agriculture will be the where-to institution that will give the licensing and the permission to utilize that. It's very important because in all the traces that the Department of Health have provided to us, it's clear that this is an area that we need to intervene and intervene quickly. The third area, because there are different bylaws across the province in managing shops, spaza shops, and many other businesses, we have now formally adopted a draft gazette that was signed by the Minister of Cocta. All councils this month of November will convene, or as part of the agenda of their normal council meeting, which normally happens the last Thursday, all municipalities in our province, without exception, will now adopt these gazettes. These are new bylaws that have been developed nationally. These bylaws explain how to register a business, how business must conduct themselves, and all those related matters. So all municipalities now in our province will adopt those bylaws, which simply means that there is a uniform approach across the province. You don't have a different bylaw in another municipality and next door is a different bylaw. So we have now accepted that draft gazette by the National Department of Cocta. It's going to all municipalities, going through their processes, and immediately after that will be adopted by the council meetings, and we have a uniform approach, which makes it easier for law enforcement agencies to then monitor and deal with law enforcement. The next resolution that we have taken is the registration of businesses. All businesses, especially those that are affecting the issue of our children, have to re-register afresh. So there is a uniform form. MEC Maile, who is the MEC responsible for economic development, is meeting with all MMCs, that is members of municipal council, executive councils, tomorrow, to then develop a template that will ensure that there's re-registration. And re-registration means exactly that, re-registration, especially those that have not registered their businesses in our communities. And that's the process that will also assist to empower those that wants to open or operate businesses, but they don't have the financial muscle or the facilities for them to run those businesses. So MEC Maile tomorrow with all the MMCs are meeting. They will then provide that template and that registration process. We are now formally, which is the next resolution that we've taken, formally calling for sectors that operate in this space of informal trading to meet with us. So we're going to have the executive mayors, MMCs, speakers, MECs, the premier. We're going to deploy ourselves in all communities to share the message that I was sharing with you, amplify the message, but also release a communication a strategy that we have just adopted. So the communication strategy will indicate areas of messaging, the target groups, and where we really believe we need to strengthen our intervention. So we've adopted that communication strategy, and now we've agreed that all the MECs, MMCs, executive mayors will be deployed in our communities to conduct community meetings. And in all those community meetings, we will meet with the stakeholders that are involved. This include your informal traders association, business forums, but our approach is to broaden the consultation to include community-based civic organizations, churches, taxi associations, and many institutions that wants to contribute on this subject. So we're going to have those mass meetings immediately after the councils have adopted the resolutions that we've spoken about. The last aspect, which is crucial now, it's law enforcement. Those that don't comply, we've given the mandate to law enforcement agencies to move with speed. There is a meeting of all law enforcement agencies every Tuesday. We'll have targeted raids, and we'll also close the shops that don't comply. But there's a process of closing those shops that will attend to and utilize the law enforcement agencies. So we've agreed then we'll meet every Saturday to take stock, and then we'll brief you on Sundays on the resolutions that we've taken, so that we follow this matter until you are dead sure that we don't have this situation arising in our communities. So this is what I call problem one on spaza shop. Problem two is on water. We're having a serious problem of water in our province. We need to reduce the consumption of water immediately, or else the system will not be in a position to assist us to distribute water in our province. We met with the Minister of Water and Sanitation this morning. We started with the first municipality, which was Johannesburg. We gave Johannesburg the opportunity to present their intervention plan. They've done that. So we're meeting with Tshwane later this week, and Ekurhuleni, and the district municipalities. This is a serious, serious matter. The numbers that Rand Water and the national minister have given us are indicating that the interventions or restrictions that we've introduced thus far are not yielding the desired outcome. We need another form of intervention immediately. And that is why we want to go municipality by municipality so that the situation can be arrested. So we want to apologize to those communities that are going through difficulties as we speak now, that are without water. And I know there are areas that are prolonged, that have not been with, they didn't have water for quite some time. We want to intervene. And that is why we need each and every municipality to give us a plan and adopt their plan and implement that plan. And also the law enforcement agencies to come on board to assist us on these matters. This is what we felt that we need to share with you. If you've got questions, all of us are here. We'll be in a position to respond to those questions. Can I leave it with you, Vuyo? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Premier. Thanks, colleagues. So, colleagues, let's just deal with the first set of questions. Just indicate who you are if you want to ask a question and the media house that you are coming from. Can I just check if the questions all were clear? Slee, you're number one. Okay, let me start. You'll 1, 2, all. 1, 2. Is there any other? Okay. No, you can't ask, Mayor. Please proceed. Sorry, Mbali. So let's just wait for the.
Have been challenges. I mean, there have been some bylaw breaches by those running those businesses. What sort of repercussions are we going to see being then gazetted in the new bylaws?
Okay, thank you very much, Mbali. You can just please pass.
Hi, my name is Kwena Mashali from the Sowetan. I just wanted to know, in regards to the gazette that was referenced now from COCTA, how is that different from what has been done before? I mean, this is not the first time that we've had issues of children dying from spaza shops, and the government has come up with other implementations to kind of obviously curb the situation. But how is this gazette different from what has been done before? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's about it. All right, you can respond, maybe, Premier. You can respond from there if. Oh. Okay.
Mbali, let me start with the repercussions, the areas that you've raised. We've coordinated the repercussions. I think there is a document. I would suggest that we release where's that bylaws document from COCTA, if we can release that. It explains the areas that we need to intervene and who need to intervene. It's not only provincial government. It's SARS, Department of Competition Commission, Department of Health, Department of Trade and Industry. It's all of us. That each and every institution is given a task on what to do. And that's where you will find the kind of actions that we need to do. But what we need to do now, which is immediate, we know the source that unfortunately is taking the lives of our children. We need to close that source. And to close that source, the Department of Health and Agriculture has been mandated to ensure that we remove the product from all the shops and institutions in our province. But secondly, unleash the law enforcement agencies to ensure compliance. And the law enforcement agencies are ready to intervene in that regard. They've given us how they've identified previous users and the warehouses and the wholesale shops that are going to be invaded or to be removed so that we don't have this challenge again. The other area of repercussion, obviously, is that if you are not registered, you can't operate now. So we are setting out the registration process, and means that you can't operate if you have not been properly registered. If municipalities adopt this gazette by the end of this month, from the 1st of December, we believe that there is a common approach across the province. I think that's what the Sowetan is asking, what is different from what? What is different is that we now have a common approach. You don't have different bylaws in different municipalities, which is very important because it means that law enforcement agencies don't have to spend time to say, by the way, I'm in Ekurhuleni, what is the problem of Ekurhuleni? Or I'm in Tshwane. We now have a uniform approach across the province, which we have adopted, all of us, this afternoon. To me, or to us, it's very important because it means we are moving towards the same direction, all of us. And it's different on the basis that you can see it's no longer putting the burden only on local government. It's putting the burden on provincial government, national government, and other institutions that have been given this particular task. And that's the reason why we feel that the National Department of COCTA have assisted us in formulating these bylaws. But the last aspect is that we can make decisions, but if there's no law enforcement, all those decisions will be meaningless. And we are proud that the provincial commissioner outlined from their national meetings how they will intervene. Even though we are waiting for municipalities to take the resolution that we have adopted, law enforcement agencies are not prohibited to act as of tomorrow or this afternoon. So law enforcement agencies will deal with the laws that need to be attended and be respected as we speak. So we are not suspending any action on the basis that we are waiting for adoption of laws. Those adoption will strengthen our approach on all these issues that have been raised. But where we are, we feel that we've got a common approach. All mayors are here. We've got a common approach. All MMCs that are responsible for running businesses are here. We've got a common approach. All law enforcement agencies or MMC responsible for law enforcement agencies, they know as from tomorrow what is expected out of them. So there's no one that is confused now. And we can arrest the situation as soon as possible. 23 lost lives is too much. We don't want to add to that list. And that is why even health and education is here, because we've identified health and education as areas that need our immediate support so that they can protect us on these matters. I want to leave it there. I see the last hand at the back there.
Yes,
Let's want to add.
Siyabonga Sithole from the start. I understand that also there is also another issue that has been raised, especially in Ratanda, as well as in the Valley, which just went. Allegations are that some operators, foreign-owned spaza shop owners.
I think you're too close to the mic, isn't it?
Sorry, okay. Yes, it is alleged that spaza shop owners who are not South Africans.
You're about to kiss it, and I'm very worried.
Who are not South Africans, basically are terrorizing locals in some of the parts of the country, of the province. I don't know if the provincial government is looking into that as well in terms of law enforcement.
Okay. Fortunately, the executive mayor of that municipality is here. Councillor Mlu, do you want to respond to that aspect?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Premier, and greetings to all and members of the media. Indeed, there was tension in Ratanda with regard to the murder of local shop owners. And that was attended to, and Lieutenant General Mtombeni also came in Ratanda. Public participation was done whilst MEC Masbo was still MEC, and that was arrested. There are no more killings that are happening in Ratanda. We regret what would have transpired, but the matter is settled, and we are looking forward to working with our local businesses, assisted by the legislation that we are going to enact as municipalities. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Executive Mayor. Can we take the last question if there is Mbali?
Okay. Balentle Mthethwa for SABC News. We've had bylaws and documents such as the one that you're mentioning right now. And in the past, there has been an accusation that municipalities have somewhat, or officials within the municipalities have dropped the ball in terms of the enforcement of bylaws. What assurances do we have that this time around these bylaws will be respected and enforced accordingly? Second question is, we have spoken to Bheki Twala, president of Township Economic Commission, who has lamented the removal of the vendors at schools as affecting the township economy. How do you respond to that? Also, just speaking on the alleged victimization of local South Africans at the hands of alleged spaza shop, foreign-owned spaza shops who are targeting them and sometimes killing them, allegedly, in order to monopolize the spaza shop industry. Do you not at some point think that this would require some form of protection of certain industries, because it looks as though this could be a threat to national security?
Well, I'll leave the last question to our provincial commissioner to respond. I just want to respond to the area of stakeholders. We want to emphasize that part. We want to consult all stakeholders. MEC Maile has been given that task to convene a session of all stakeholders. We don't want to superimpose our views. We're meeting as government, and now we've got a decision as government. We really believe that we need to take that decision to those that are operating in the sector so that we can meet them as a sector, so that they can be in a position to provide their input as well. And then we'll go to community meetings to allow communities to come in and provide guidance. The first one of previous bylaws, I'm looking at the executive mayors here, whether they want to come and respond on the bylaws that indeed they exist and indeed they're going to be enforced. Yeah, but go on, Brian.
I thought the Premier will just make it easy. It doesn't mean that we have not been enforcing bylaws, but on this particular topic in particular, it means we need to be more aggressive, ensure that we deal first with building control. This is what we need, because some of the spazas themselves do not comply as it relates to building control. So we are going to enforce the bylaws. Then we can enter all other issues related to enforcement of these bylaws. So we'll do our best. We need all the resources. You saw that we still have shortages there and there in terms of person power, but we think we'll do our best. Speaking on behalf, without a mandate, on behalf of all the municipalities.
We have a mandate, PC, do you want to deal with the law enforcement aspect of it?
Thank you very much, Premier, and greetings to the media houses, greetings to the viewers at home. I think on the main is the issue which Mbali have raised, which you cited a certain individual who lament on the removals of the foreign nationals in terms of what they are doing within our communities. Maybe key to that, Premier, is that we know for the fact that we have in the laws in this country. The fact remains is that we are, of course, having people who comes into this country in terms of the Immigration Act, like people who are having refugee status, people who are asylum seekers. If I can give the two examples of which is regulated by the immigration laws in terms of Section 24 and 22, we have to take note that when we're having these people in the country, as and when they apply, I think the Premier have been clear on this one to say we'll have to take stock and make sure that there's a direction in terms of re-registration. When these people are in the country, we know for the fact that they can also apply to the issues of businesses, because we don't have like camps in this country where we're keeping people and the government is doing the feed. But what is important within the communities, with the help of the communities, we are, of course, on the ground. We get a lot of information related to what you have cited. I can relate to the issue relating to Naledi. We know for the fact that it was hyper high on the media in terms of some of the allegations which were not true, which we are, of course, dealing with that. We know for those pictures which were circulated for community carrying the LGM, you know, the rifle, within that community. So we are working on those individuals. We know who are they, and we are glad that the community are providing the information. In an essence, where it's clearly that individuals, they are operating against the laws of the country, is up to the law enforcement to act precisely, and Premier will do exactly that in ensuring that the communities are and they feel safe.
Thank you so much, Provincial Commissioner. Voyo, I suspect that this brings us to the end of this interaction. If there are other forms of interactions, they know where to get you. We'll deal with it. Once more, I want to thank all the executive mayors that are here and thank the MECs that are here and the MMCs that are here. Let's attend to this matter as quickly as possible and ensure that we protect our children. Thank you so much. Ralebo. Thanks.
How are you? I'm good. How are you? Good. Nice to meet you. Thanks for bringing a flower. It was not one in all the district. It was only men. Right? No, we must be here. We must. Okay. My friend, let's leave this thing to other functions of the locals. I'll tell you how we should name the culture on this one. I'll show you.